Hello, my YouTube subscribers and my subscribers to be. Don't forget to click that like, share, and subscribe button so I can come back with more commentary just for you out there. Today, my topic is about pastor sexually abuses a 13-year-old girl. What is going on with our pastors, our ministers, our deacons of today, you guys? So, I'm your host today for the show. What do you think about these pastors molesting these children? If you click online and you Google up pastors sexually abuse children, you will see it all over the internet. It is something else. So today in Houston, Texas, there was a friend of mine. She was like, girl, did you hear about this minister allegedly molesting this girl that was 13 years old at the church, and she finally came forth about it? I was like, you got to be kidding. So then I started Googling it up, and guess what? When I Googled it up, it was about another pastor, I think somewhere in Georgia. So I told her, I said, well, is this the person? She's like, you mean to tell me somebody else did it too? I said, girl, it's all over the place. It is so sad, you guys. And this is what turns people off from church. That's sad. You got your ministers in church. If they're not swindling money out of people, they're molesting the girls, or they're having sexual relationships with several women in the congregation, and then they play the women against each other. That's absolutely wrong. And I don't know how these pastors think that they can get by with that, because God sits high and he looks low, and no one escapes the bullet when it comes to doing wrong in the house of the Lord. So what makes them think that they can get away with all of this wrongdoing? If they're not swindling money from people, if they're not molesting these teens, if they're not having 3 or 4 or 5 women in the church, what else are they not doing? They're doing all of the above. It's really sad. And especially when it comes to molesting a kid. And this particular pastor in Houston, Texas, he really wasn't a bad looking person. He probably could have had any woman in the church. So why would you go and molest a child? And a lot of these men that do this with children, they have kids of their own. They wouldn't want no man molesting and taking their child babyhood away from them. This not only goes for men, this also goes for the women, these teachers that are molesting these little boys in the schools. You see, this stuff has gotten out of hand. And it's almost making kids think that it's normal to be with someone that's the age of their grandfather. This man was like 64, 65 years old, and this girl was only 13. That could be her grandfather. I mean, what kind of satisfaction will he get out of molesting a child, you guys? That is really something, because it takes away, that child didn't get a chance to develop as a normal human being. That girl didn't get a chance to let her womanhood grow into womanhood without it being taken away from her at an early age. That is so sad. That is so sad. She didn't get to develop, to grow up to be that woman. She was forced to be that woman at the age of 13 by a minister. These ministers also, even the priests, we hear it all the time, they are molesting boys. So it's not just our girls, it's our boys. And it's not just our males, it's the women. They're molesting boys. The men are molesting girls. And then this is why most mature women, a lot of them don't have a man, because of the fact that these men are going around messing with children. Now, as I was telling a girlfriend of mine today, I said, now look, a lot of times, these kids, they grow up too fast. The young girls, they're very revealing now, the new millennium. They just put on anything, whatever the hell they want to put on. They'll walk around butt naked in front of a man and they don't think it's anything to it. They will put their butts in their faces. And a lot of times they're just doing it unaware and not knowing that this man could be a rapist. This man could be a porno style person. This man could just be a molester or anything like that. An sexual abuser, or just a looker. So these kids with these little mini skirts and Daisy Dukes, they're not aware of that. They can be around a man because possibly they probably walked around their fathers like that and didn't know that another man would take that in a different way. So this is why parents have to teach their kids how to be a lady at all times and how to dress in certain situations. But you know what, you guys? It still does not mean that that man has to act on that child. Even if a young lady put herself on an older man, he should put her in a place and let her know, look, I'm old enough to be your father. I'm old enough to be your grandfather. Don't disrespect me like that. I'm going to tell your parents. Be a man. Don't be a pervert or a pedophile. It is so sad. In the churches of today, oftentimes I hear people say, oh, I don't go to church anymore. You know, that's really sad. When you hear someone that tells you they do not go to church anymore. And you know why that is? It's because it's so much bad going on in the church until they feel like this pastor here, I already know he has a bad name. How can he tell me anything? How can he tell me anything? It's so many ministers. I can just name them on my hands. I'm not going to say it, online because I don't want to blast them, but all you have to do is Google up foul ministers. A lot of the ministers are crooks in the church, pimps in the church, pedophiles in the church, lookers in the church, con artists in the church, and these are ministers. And what happens is women tend, because we really believe in God, and if you go to a lot of the churches, it's more women than men, because of the fact that a lot of the men that played with God, they're no longer with us. They didn't outlive that woman, or they abused their wife. You may see a few good men lingering around in the church. The men that lived like the Bible said, took care of their wives, took care of their families, didn't play around. Or if they played around, they got it together and they stopped playing around and they kept their family together. So this stuff, these ministers, I know of people that have been dating ministers in the church. I know ministers that have come on to me in the church. And I'm looking at them like, I don't think so. And I stopped going. I can't swallow that one. I really can't. Because you're supposed to be upholding the word, not degrading the word of God. In the church, praying, hooping and hollering and shouting, and some of them know how to twist it. Oh, God said, he said, come on in the house of the Lord, and I can help you. Just do what I say do. Put the money on the table, y'all, and watch how God blesses you. Oh, yeah, yeah. Come on now. Do you hear me when I say? Say amen. And people are like, amen, amen. Oh, yes, Father. Oh, hallelujah. Yes, Lord. And all along, when he see you coming, he looking at the bucket like, oh, okay. Let me come up with another sermon. Did you do what I say do? I need 5 of you to come up here and drop $1,000 each in the bucket. Yeah. And here they come. And you know what? The people that don't drop the money in the bucket because they knew it was a crock of bull and it wasn't from the heart, the people that did gets mad at them because they already knew it was a con game. I know people right now in the church that are con artists. I'm not going to call their names. They're deacons on the board. They're mothers of the church. They're first ladies of churches. And I know they're a crock of bull. That doesn't stop me from having God in my heart. That doesn't stop me from going to church. But I'm just saying there are people that I know personally that I could name to you that are sitting there, the women putting towels over their legs, even they're in my family. in my family, and they are no good. I mean, I'm just being real with you because all family is not good. I have family members and their husbands. They're sitting in the church, on the front row in the church. He's a deacon of the church, and she's a lady of the church, you know, where they wear their little white dresses and sitting on the front row. No good. Con artist, unrighteousness, evil, conniving, illegal, all of that. Sitting in the church on the front row, praising the Lord, and all the people around them think that they are angels. It's almost like that Reverend Ike guy. You remember Reverend Ike? And I remember my mom, she used to always send him money. And I was like, Mother, why you sending that man? Why you keep sending that man money? Why you keep sending that man? Oh, baby, he gonna send me a prayer cloth and this prayer. He'll take a little piece of this prayer cloth, them little red prayer. I was like, Mother, that man just conning you. Just conning you. I said, because whatever you believe in your own mind is what it's going to be anyway. It's not about what he say that prayer cloth is going to do. He could be praying on that prayer cloth so that you can send him some more money. It could not even be about helping you. Oh no, baby, Reverend Ike, this, all the old people was hooked on Reverend Ike, boy. And then remember that Jim Jones? A lot of people was hooked on him too, and he took down a whole lot of people with him. Because I knew this guy named Fred in San Francisco. And he worked at this store I used to shop at in San Francisco. And that store was on Masonic and something. His name was Fred. He was the butcher, you know, in the meat department. And he told me that he had went to where Jim Jones was. He had went to that place, and they was trying to get him into that cult. And all of his family went, his wife and all of his kids. So he went over there to try to get them back. They wouldn't leave. And he said people had guns trying to stop them from leaving, and somehow he got away and went back to San Francisco. And he got out just in time, because right after that, all those people died with whatever Jim Jones told him to drink or whatever. And he lost all of his family. Oh, I felt so sorry for Mr. Fred. It was something else. This was someone I personally knew in San Francisco. That family went over there, and this man, supposed to have been a man of God, had the mind of these people and took them out to hell with him. It's unbelievable. It's very few ministers that I can say, you can count them on one hand, that could be living the righteous way. A lot of them, they are married and they're gay. They don't know which way they want to go. They're molesting boys. The priests and ministers are bisexual in the church. Some of the preachers' wives are too. Some of the wives know what's going on because they're still with them even after all the stuff have hit the surface. They're not going anywhere. All of that madness is linked in together. And so it's nothing but the devil, you guys. It's nothing but the devil. So if you don't have God and your own beliefs within your heart, whether it's God or whatever you believe in, I believe in God. If you don't have that for yourself and you're looking up for someone else to give it to you, you're in a heap of trouble. You better know it for yourself so you won't get had, you won't get conned, you won't get abused. I know a young lady that was dating a minister, and the minister really, really hurt her. This is someone I knew personally. I'm not going to call any names. I'm just going to tell the story. And these are true stories that I know, that I'm saying. When I say I know these people and this have actually happened in real life, I'm honest about it. And she came to me and she was just distraught because she was so in love with this minister. He had her mind. This is just one story. I'm going to tell you about another one after this one. And so the minister just stopped helping her altogether, started looking at other women, just degrading her like she was nobody and treated her like she was a piece of crap. And just dumped her just out of the clear. The girl was just I mean, she had been dedicated to the church for over 15, 16 years, paid her tithes and offerings, did all of the above, and then he was dating her all of those years, and then he kicked her to the curb for someone else. Then there was another story. There was a girl that, and actually this was a church that I went to in California, and she had fallen in love with this minister because he had lost his wife, and she had fallen in love with him. And this girl actually lost her mind. I'm serious. I am dead serious. She actually snapped because someone said, you know, so and so is living on the lake. I said, living on the lake? I said, no, not the high class girl that I know. They used to come in my business looking like Hollywood. Oh, no. They said, oh, yes. Oh, yes. But prior to me finding out, I was wondering what happened to her because I didn't hear from her anymore. And so I was wondering what happened. And the last time I had spoken with her, she told me that how the minister had did her. She said she thought that they were going to be together. But when his wife passed, he ended up marrying an usher and left her astray. She snapped. And a lot of people left the church because they were outdone that it was someone that even knew his wife before she passed. And that's who he married. And the girl that I know, my friend, well, I don't talk to her anymore because she snapped in another zone now. I mean, this is serious, you guys. And it's real. What I'm telling you, these are true stories. The girl snapped. So one day, my source went to find her on that lake, and they actually put her on the phone. And she says, oh, hi. She says, I'm living out here in freedom now. I don't have anything else to worry about. And I'm just living off the fat of the land. And I love it out here. I mean, her mind was gone. This was a girl that had everything going, you guys. I was talking to her. So, are you sure? Are you okay? I said, someone can help you get in a place. Oh, no, I wouldn't have it any other way. And guess what? Her sister was living out there with her. They were sitting on the bench on a lake, homeless, because she chose to and drug her sister into it. Her sister went with her, and it was something else. And the blind can't lead the blind because she snapped. Maybe she already had some type of problem, because for the sister to go with her, it could have been a bloodline of problems, but that minister made her snap because she thought she was going to be with him for the rest of her life. That's what he had told her, and then he ended up being with the usher, someone else, after she waited on him because his wife was sick and she waited on him. And I have another story where one of my clients in California, she came in and she says, I'm through with church. I said, oh no, because we went to the same church. I said, oh no, why are you through with church? Don't be through with church. Why are you through with church? She says, because my house burned down and I went to the church. And the church had other houses that they could have possibly let her live in. And the girl said they wouldn't help her at all. And she had been there 20 years paying her tithes and all. She said, you know how much money I've given that church and they wouldn't help me. And my house burned down. I was homeless. And so tell me, where is the money going in these churches? Where is the money going? It's not helping the congregation because, like that girl, she went for help and couldn't get any help. And I'm not down in all churches, but I'm just trying to tell you what I have experienced in some of the churches, through some of the family members, through some of the personal friends, through some of the personal clients that are true stories. And you can just take it from there. I'm just being honest with you. This world is something else. You can't trust people almost as far, as my grandmother would say, as far as you can see them. Because you know nothing about that next person. You know nothing about that minister. You know nothing about his wife. You know nothing about nothing. Only God has to protect you from demons and devils, because they are out there and they come in all shapes, forms, and fashions. And unless you are aware, you can get taken to, like the Jim Jones situation. Now, if my mother would have connected with Jim Jones, I do believe that my mother would have been one of those people that wouldn't have left him. Because Mr. Fred said he tried to get his family away. He went over there to get his family away, and they wouldn't go. They told him, oh no, you can go on back to California. We're staying with Reverend Jim Jones. We're not going nowhere. He had the minds of them. But even if people were trying to leave, like he said, they had guns and weapons. Some people was getting shot at and stuff that was trying to leave that place, that compound. Stuff is really, really serious. So you got the ministers to look out for out here in the world. I'm just talking about, it started off with the minister in Houston that molested a 13-year-old girl that came out today. It started from that on down, all the way down through the line, and now I'm talking about the ministers. If you don't have, nowadays you got the ministers conning, scheming, the congregation begging for money all the time to put in their pockets for this, that, and the other. You have the molesters that molest kids. You have the rapists that rape kids, adults, and everyone. Like the young man in Atlanta that was raping all these women within a 2-mile radius of his home and had the nerve to apply to be a police officer. You have a judge, just yesterday I saw a judge got sentenced for bribery. He was being paid to let people off by the attorneys. It's just, you have attorneys going to jail. You have, oh man, this stuff is crazy. So if you don't protect yourself out here, no one else will. Because it's a bad, bad situation going on right now. You got the rapists, the robbers, the killing, the home invasions. You got the molesters, the sex offenders. You got, oh my God. It's something else, you guys. So just watch out, and I'm just telling you some of the things that I have experienced in my life. Just watching it through people coming in, because I'm a people person, so I talk to people, and you have abusers, murderers. It's just bad out here. What is this world coming to? What is this world coming to? And you have beautiful young ladies that waste their lives. They go and rob people, kill people. It's sad. You have kidnappers. You have people killing their kids, molesting their kids. Teachers, like I said, molesting little boys in school, taking them to their homes. It's something. And especially when a mother takes away the life of her own child. You hear that every day. This world is something else. So someone was telling me today, we were talking about murderers, because you have cops killing their wives. And I mean, these are police officers that's been on the force. You have police raping women, like that one in Oklahoma that raped all the underprivileged crackhead women and drughead women, and he went after the underprivileged women. And he was a young, strong man that could have had anybody he wanted. Well, he did have a girlfriend, and she helped get his ass busted too, because when they interrogated him, he said he was with her, and she said, no, he wasn't. You see what I'm saying? You have, back to what I was saying, someone told me that this police officer that killed his wife, someone said, oh, I seen him in church. And he's out on bond. So you just have all this stuff. He killed his, I don't know how he could live with himself. To kill his wife because he was playing around. She accused him of playing around. It's really something how when people do wrong and then they turn around and flip the script and put it on the other person because of their own narcissist behavior. You have a lot of that going on, a lot of narcissists, and they think only one way, their way, or no way at all. Like that Jim Jones. It was his way or no way. And he just took everyone out with him because he was a narcissist and he was selfish. You have people that do that. When all these people are committing all these suicides and you have cops shooting up people for no reason and this and that, you don't never know. A lot of these people are bipolar and they are hired and they're not checked out thoroughly. And that's not just in the police force, that's on the jobs, the judges, the jury. It's just, people have to be checked out. Like that rapist in Georgia, they found out that after he didn't show up for his training, he was 4 hours late. That was when they did the DNA after that. Well, if I was the police force, I would have done it before I hired him. Because you have a lot of nuts out there that are packing guns as well. You never know if these people are bipolar, if they had, psychiatrist records. You never know what people have had going on in their life, and that stuff gets snapped back, and you don't know what the hell you hired. So it just goes on and on and on and on. But back to these ministers. That was what my topic was about. These ministers, people are now beginning to wake up and look at them in another light. People, a lot of the ministers now, they have no one controlling the money but them, which means what? You don't know where it's going. And that shouldn't be. There should always be a trustee board. Someone, not just the minister, should know where that money is going. Because of the fact that if the minister takes all the money, then it's no good for the congregation when they need it. Because it's all for the minister. And that's not fair, because the congregation, they're the ones that's keeping the church going. I mean, I know a minister have a lot on them and they deserve to be paid. I'm not taking that away from them. But what I am saying, when they start gold digging, we need money for this, we need money for that, we need money for this, we need money for that, we need money for this, and the money goes nowhere but to them. So all of this stuff is coming to a head. People are waking up. All of the people that are doing wrong, there's no way you could do that and not get caught eventually. And everybody in their right mind should know that eventually you will get caught. So why not be right straight up, and especially being a minister over a congregation, praying to the Lord, helping people. These little girls, ministers, should put on blinders. Because like I said, some of them, they put themselves right on the front row with the minister with short skirts on, legs open, all of that stuff to entice a man. And a man is a man, however, he should know what's going on. Be aware that that's a setup through a child. Actually, it's a setup through the devil. He can put the prettiest little thing in front of a man's face. And if a man act on it and he knows better, he's going to pay the price. He's going to pay the price because you already know you're older than this baby. And then when you start checking up into the records, they're married and they too have kids and wouldn't want anyone to disrespect, rape, molest, or abuse their child. So this stuff has to stop. And I'm really going to end my commentary, but I'll be coming back with some more good commentary about other things that's going on in the world. Please click like, share, and subscribe so that I can come back with more and keep my YouTube channel going. I thank you so much for tuning in to the Real News Talk Show, and I'll be coming back with more. Click like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you later. Bye.